All right, so this title is crazy. It's called TikTok Couples That Were So Toxic They Killed Each Other. This is by Greedy. I seen the first 5 seconds. Yeah, let's jump into it.
Little Dookie Booty, go on and get in the camera. Yeah, this is for Keisha because you clearly ain't learned your lesson the first time. Tell her what the I said.
I can't focus.
Louder.
I can't with you no more.
Cause what?
You messing up my family.
Now.
How can someone pretend that they didn't know what was going on with her, and all this time they knew what the heck was going on? Like, you must have played it out real good for thinking nobody was gonna come out and do nothing.
We didn't see any signs, no signals. It wasn't like she was coming around us with black eyes or anything like that. So there was none of that.
Making the murder a shock.
It is definitely a betrayal.
You ever scroll through TikTok and see those couples who seem too perfect? Take Winter Straw. On the outside, her relationship looked fun, even sweet. But behind the scenes, it was full of control, manipulation, and violence. Until it ended in murder. Then there's Jessica Edwards. She was a new mom trying to find her balance. But instead of support, she faced resentment that turned into something much worse. And Kayana and Ronald Burns? A TikTok-famous power couple who built a whole brand on success and family values. But behind the scenes, their marriage was falling apart under financial pressure, emotional turmoil, and ultimately, a shocking murder-suicide. 3 couples, 3 relationships that played out in front of millions, and 3 stories that prove couple goals aren't always what they seem. This is the story of TikTok couples that were so toxic, they killed each other.
So we're getting 3 stories in this.
This incident started at about 6 o'clock on Sunday night near the 700 block of Mallet Hill Road.
Winter Straw was just 25 years old, a bright and bubbly young woman with dreams that stretched beyond TikTok. She had a devoted family and a passion for helping people. Because of her passion for helping people, she decided to become a lawyer.
She was a good friend, good sister, great daughter. All around just a good person, a rising star. A rising star. If you met her, you loved her. And if you never met her, you wished you had.
And her mother said she was planning to go to law school.
But while she worked towards that, she became an influencer who had a growing presence on TikTok. She shared dance videos, beauty tips, and snapshots of her seemingly picture-perfect relationship with Renardo Johnson.
Who was interested first? Who said I love you first? Who's more protective? Who cleans more? Who eats the most? Who spends the most money? Who is most likely to start an argument? Who falls asleep first? Who is more annoying? Who loves the hardest?
But behind the filters and the viral clips, their love was anything but healthy. And eventually, those dreams she had were cut short by the same man who claimed to love her.
There's no warning signs, which is the hard part about it.
She was just a beautiful spirit that, didn't deserve nothing.
Winter met Renardo when she was just a teenager. Their relationship was intense from the start, full of passion, but also constant fighting. According to Winter's friends, Winter often posted cryptic messages about love and heartbreak, but they didn't fully understand what was going on behind the scenes because in front of the camera, Winter's boyfriend, Renardo Johnson, seemed like the perfect partner. He seemed devoted to his wife, even to the point of hoping online to tell other girls that were in his DMs to back off because they were messing with his family.
Little Dookie Booty, go on and get in the camera. Yeah, this is for Keisha because you clearly ain't learned your lesson the first time. Tell her what the I said.
I can't focus.
Louder.
I can't with you no more.
Cause what?
You messing up my family.
Now.
But that was just an act, and those closest to Winter began to see red flags. Small, barely noticeable at first, but they were there. Renardo was possessive. He hated the attention Winter got online. As her TikTok following grew, so did his paranoia. He would check her phone, question her about messages, and guilt.
Why do people hate that? If I see my significant other on TikTok, on social media, I'm gonna be happy for them. They fall and start to grow. That's kind of what you're on there for whatever reason. If it's personal, it's because you got a business, you want that following to grow. So why would I be upset? Why would I get mad? Like, if they already have a history, okay, they have a history. But if you've never seen this before, never showed you, a certain way, you can't say that they're that way.
Her into spending less time online, but her family saw none of this because Winter kept it hidden.
We didn't see any signs, no signals. It wasn't like she was coming around us with black eyes or anything like that. So there was none of that.
Making the murder a shock.
It is definitely a betrayal.
As Renardo became more and more obsessed with controlling Winter, their fans on TikTok began to notice the toxic pattern in their relationship and started commenting that Winter needed to leave him for her own safety. But in response, Winter and Renardo made a TikTok making fun of the people who were trying to advise her to stay away from him.
That's crazy. They warned her.
I'm still alive. I'm still alive. I'm still alive. I'm still alive.
All the time.
But behind the scenes, Renardo was getting even more paranoid, accusing Winter of encouraging the men in her comment section by posting videos they could thirst over. Winter, of course, didn't see it that way. TikTok was her job. It was what put food on the table. So to her, she was just doing her job. One night, after an explosive argument over a TikTok post, Renardo snapped. Winter had posted a TikTok hinting at a breakup, a video that would be her last. Renardo, in a fit of rage, confronted her. Neighbors reported hearing screaming and crashing sounds, but when police arrived, they found Winter lifeless, her life extinguished in minutes.
This was not a spur-of-the-moment thing. The young man, it was premeditated. He thought about his actions, and he carried them out.
Renardo had attempted to take his own life afterward, but survived. He later confessed that he couldn't bear the thought of Winter leaving him, saying if he couldn't have her, no one could.
Because this man looked me in my eyes all the time. And whenever I would talk to him, I'd say, I'm giving you my child, a wholehearted, bubbly personality, and that's how I want to get her back.
Winter's mother was devastated, shattered, betrayed by the man she had once welcomed into her home, a man who promised her he would return her daughter to her exactly as he'd met, laughing and happy.
And he always assured me he would never do anything to hurt my child.
She says Winter's death has given the family a new purpose.
We want to make it clear, real clear. Domestic violence is not a joke.
Instead, she came home in a body bag. Winter's death hit her family hard. They were a close-knit family who couldn't understand how they could have missed that she was suffering and needed their help.
When people think of Winter, I want them to think of just a sweet, innocent girl who was out here trying to make her mom proud, make her family proud, and just to do what she loved most. I'm the baby of my family, and so she was my little sister, and so it just hurt me so bad because I wish I was there for her. I wish I was right down the street. I just wish she would have called.
Her death was yet another reminder of how toxic love can be deadly, and her family was determined to make sure it wasn't in vain.
It's not something that we should take lightly. For those of you that are posting on Facebook and doing all that unnecessary stuff, I don't care what a person does to you. You don't have the right to take her life. You don't have the right to put your hands on nobody.
Tuesday was the anniversary of the night Winter was lost to another case of domestic violence in this state. Her coworkers wanted to use that day to bring light to the love she shared instead.
And Winter wasn't the only one who believed she was safe. Jessica Edwards thought she was too.
This is a shame that these girls and these babies and these kids, these mothers, we have to grieve because somebody decided they wanted to take God into their hands. It's just too much. It's too much.
Friends and family are still searching for a missing mother from South Windsor. They gathered at Hartford at Riverside Park today to continue looking for Jessica Edwards. It's been a week since the 30-year-old was last seen by her family.
Jessica Edwards was the kind of person who lit up a room. If you knew her, you loved her. If you didn't, you probably wished you did. Jessica graduated from East Hartford High School in 2009, then went on to Eastern Connecticut State University, where she earned her bachelor's degree in English. But she didn't stop there. She had a heart for helping people, so she got her master's in social work from Simmons College in Boston. And that still wasn't enough. She wanted to work in healthcare, so she went back to school to get a degree in respiratory care at Manchester Community College. She was literally days away from graduating, but she never got to walk across that stage. Somewhere along the way, Jessica met Taj Hutchinson. He was 8 years younger than her, just 22 at the time of her death. It's unclear exactly how they met, but at some point, things got serious. They got married, had a baby, and started a life together. Now, to the outside world, they looked like your average young couple, balancing work, school, and parenthood. But behind closed doors, it was a different story.
South Windsor police are working with state and federal authorities to try to track her down.
I'll be meeting with the town manager and the police chief tomorrow, and we're going to look at all the resources that we have to try to help in this effort to bring Jessica home safely.
On May 10th, 2021, Jessica vanished.
If you know anything about Jessica's whereabouts, call police.
Her husband, Taj, went on social media and played the role of the worried husband. He posted emotional messages like,
"It's another lonely and worrisome night without you, my love. Son, and I miss you so much. I don't have an appetite to eat or sleep knowing that you aren't here with me. Every time I came home you were always there taking care of our beautiful son that we created. Whenever I was down you always lifted me up. I've never even been so many days without you. My heart is broken right now, shattered, and my emotions all mixed up. Please, 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 wherever you are, come back safely."
He wanted people to believe that Jessica had just walked away, that she left her baby, her family, and her entire life behind.
"I love you and need you so much, and our son worries about you too. I feel like he barely wants to eat. Please, I love you so much."
But her family, they weren't buying it. Something wasn't right.
New documents just released on the death of Jessica Edwards. Today, her husband will head to court charged in her death.
Turns out, Jessica had argued with Taj the night before Mother's Day. It was over a gift, a pair of guinea pigs that Taj had bought for her.
And the arrest warrant, it states the day before Mother's Day, Hutchinson bought Edwards guinea pigs as a gift and she was angry about it. On Mother's Day, their argument led to a physical confrontation.
Now, was she upset because she hated guinea pigs? Maybe. But what really mattered was how that argument escalated. By the next morning, the fight turned physical.
According to police, he said he pushed her, which caused her ear to bleed. The next day, on Monday morning, according to the warrant, their arguing continued, and this time, she said Edwards hit him in the head with a laptop, grabbed a kitchen knife, and he pinned her to the ground.
Jessica fought back. She hit him with a laptop. She grabbed a knife. She was defending herself, but Taj was bigger and stronger. He pinned her to the ground, kneeling on her neck and back, just like what happened to George Floyd. She struggled. She tried to breathe, and then she stopped moving.
And eventually, she stopped moving and died. Later that same day, Edward's sister went to Hutchinson's home on Cinnamon Springs Road in South Windsor. Police say she told them she saw in the trunk of his Jeep what appeared to be a blanket covering a body.
Taj left her there, lying on the floor, for hours while their 7-month-old baby was in the house. Then, he wrapped her body in a blanket, put her in the trunk of his Jeep, and drove her to a remote wooded area in East Hartford, where he dumped her like trash. And while everyone was searching for Jessica, crying, posting her face all over social media, Taj was out here acting like nothing happened. Even when Jessica's sister showed up at his house demanding answers, he played dumb until she saw something inside his trunk.
As she demanded him to open up the trunk, Hutchinson sped off. She also told police she found divorce papers filled out by Edwards but was never filed.
It was a body, wrapped up. She screamed at him to open the trunk, but Taj panicked. He sped off before she could do anything.
In the documents, he went on to say he drove to a random GPS location and dragged the body to a wooded area, which is where Edwards was eventually found on Friday by Driver Road in East Hartford.
And that's when police really started looking at him.
How can someone pretend that they didn't know what was going on with her, and all this time they knew what the heck was going on?
Was the body in
like,
the trunk?
You must have played it out real good for thinking nobody was going to come out and do nothing.
Taj's story kept changing. First, he said Jessica had left with friends. Then, he said she got aggressive and he was just defending himself.
Jessica Edwards was first discovered missing May 10th. Her husband, 22-year-old Taj Hutchinson, initially claimed she got into a car that morning.
If something happened and it's really self-defense, I'm not touching nothing. Let the police come in, do their investigating, and let them, don't touch nothing, because you're gonna mess up everything. Now you hiding the body. Now, if it was self-defense, I'm just saying, I'm sure in this case it wasn't, but in a situation where the self-defense actually occurred, I'm not touching nothing. Let them see everything.
Morning with friends and never returned. Police doubted that story and searched areas in South Windsor, Manchester, and East Hartford, finally finding her body in a wooded East Hartford area May 21st. Hutchinson was arrested that evening.
Jessica's body was found 11 days later, and Taj was arrested. He was charged with manslaughter at first, but the truth was clear. He murdered his wife, and after months of investigation, his charge was upgraded to murder.
He later confessed to having a physical altercation that led to Edwards' death. Now, after months of investigation, the initial charge of manslaughter has been upgraded to murder.
Jessica's mother was heartbroken.
No one should have to go through something like this. Nobody should.
And let's not forget, Jessica and Taji's child lost both parents that day. One to murder, the other to prison.
So I was happy. I was elated. Finally, something has been, we feel like something has been done, something is being done.
I think that should have been the charge from the beginning. So I believe they gathered enough evidence just to make sure that their case was going to be solid.
In November 2024, Taji stood before a judge and received his sentence, 27 years in prison. For some, it was justice. For others, it wasn't nearly enough. Because the truth is, Jessica should still be here. She should be raising her son, building her career, living her life. Instead, she's another name on the long list of women lost to DV, along with Kierna Burns.
How do you explain to your child that you killed their mother? Crazy.
What's up, y'all? It's snowing outside. Still got to work. Still got to go make it happen. Get up because you want to, not because you have to. And that's where we've positioned ourselves in our life, that we get up because we want to, not necessarily because we have to. But the fight is never finished.
Kayana and Ronald Burns weren't just a couple, they were a brand. They built their lives around inspiring others, teaching people how to be successful entrepreneurs.
Hi, I'm Ronald Burns, and this is my lovely wife, Kayana Burns.
Hi.
Today we're going to talk to you about entrepreneurship and how it greatly benefited our life.
For those that don't know, my husband and myself, we've been entrepreneurs for the last 20 years. And our mission is to bring you guys along to become successful entrepreneurs as well.
And in being in business over 20 years, guys, one of the fundamental things that we believe is that you should never spend all of your business time building somebody else's business.
Kayana and Ronald weren't just talking about success, they lived it. Originally from St. Louis, Missouri, they built their brand from the ground up. They ran For His Glory Ministries, a faith-based motivational platform, and owned Critique Design's beauty and barber salon, where they helped others build careers.
You should be in a position of leverage income, where you make money that doesn't require your time. So one of the things that we're going to teach you is, what does the wealthy people understand that the poor people don't? They understand how to make money without their touch. We've been taught to go to school, get a great education, graduate, and get a good job. How about go to school, get an education if you choose to, and go own the business where your money doesn't require your touch, because you only have 24 hours in a day.
For over 20 years, they were business partners in everything: love, life, and money. But in 2021, they decided to take a leap. They packed up their lives, moved to Atlanta, Georgia, and planned to expand their empire. To their followers, they looked unstoppable, but in reality, the move wasn't easy.
I just felt the need to hop on here for just a moment, not long at all, and kind of just talk about, life changes.
Just a few weeks before the tragedy, Kayana went live on Facebook, and what she said, it hit differently after what happened. She wasn't her usual bubbly self. Instead, she looked drained, exhausted, and on edge.
But look, y'all, I'm telling you, if you don't stay prayed up and you don't keep faith, things can swivel in and take you out.
At the time, people thought she was just talking about business struggles, but was she hinting at something deeper?
For those that don't know, about 5-6 months ago, my husband and myself, we moved to Atlanta to expand our business.
She also admitted that moving to Atlanta had been harder than expected.
I'm telling you guys, like, the transition, it wasn't necessarily a smooth one. It wasn't a hard one either, but it was something that we chose to do. And when you come to a new state or city and you're trying to learn people and you're trying to learn, you know, the things that they do, and that can be challenging. And coming here with our kids, just us and our kids, you know, it's just us.
And then she said something that now feels chilling.
And if you don't feel like you're a strong enough individual, some things may take you out.
Was she reaching out for help? Was she warning us? Or was she already losing control?
Honestly, if I'm being totally, perfectly honest, I'm having one right now. And the reason I'm going live is because sometimes you gotta reach out and tell people that you need love.
I guess about 7 months ago, something like that, 7 months ago, when my wife and myself, we decided we was gonna get a divorce, that we ain't wanna be with each other no more. We was just done with each other.
Here's where things get even more complicated. Around 6 months before the murder, Ronell revealed something shocking. He and Kayana had actually planned to get a divorce.
She was tired of me, I was tired of her. We was gonna go on about our business. And as we sat in the truck and we said, hey, you know what, if we're gonna get a divorce, let's be civil. You know, we got kids, we got businesses. We said, well, let's just sit down and just talk about how this all gonna work out. Meaning from a business aspect.
They literally wrote everything down. Who would take what? How the businesses would be split.
How we was gonna divide the business. And she go her way and I go my way, but we didn't want to compromise and jeopardize everybody else's future because we was tripping. Let's not destroy our businesses. Let's not tear each other's name down. Let's not do none of that because there's kids, there's family members.
But then they changed their minds.
By the time the night had reached us, God had changed our heart. And I start thinking back to Jesus when he was on the cross.
They stayed together, but had they already crossed a point of no return? On November 6th, 2021, something snapped. Inside their luxury apartment in Sandy Springs, Georgia, an argument escalated into something no one saw coming. Kayana, the same woman who preached strength and faith, grabbed a firearm. She fired at Ronell, and then she turned the firearm on herself. When police arrived, they found both of them dead. A murder-suicide. No history of DV, no past police reports, no warning signs, except for that eerie Facebook Live. So what really happened between Kayana and Ronell? Some say it was financial pressure, that starting over in a new city put too much strain on them. Some believe their marriage was broken long before the move, and staying together only made things worse. And some think Kayana had reached a breaking point, one she never spoke about until it was too late. Hey, thank you for watching. Our deepest...
Okay, that was 3 cases in one video. They all have one thing in common. But that last one story was a twist. Didn't expect that. But you never know what a couple was going through. You never know what's really happening behind closed door. That's why you can't glorify and you can't, want to be somebody else because you don't know what the hell they're going through. You might have a better life than what they're showing, so you always got to be thankful for your situation in your life. But you guys jump in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. Like, share it. See you guys next time.